Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for the first round of the Porsche Supercup here at Motive Racing. The opening round on Assetto Corsa Competizione for another season here for the Super Season at Motive Racing. And as you recognise, we're on the legendary Soa-Francorchamps circuit for what is sure to be a very exciting night of action. Currently, we've got 7 drivers out on the track for this opening round. We're expecting a few more, but unfortunately, some of the drivers who signed up for this season haven't appeared to turn up for the first race, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but obviously we'll be having to remove those drivers and get some new ones in. If anybody's interested in taking part in some Porsche Supercup action on YouTube with live commentary, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com and get yourselves involved in the on-track action. But without further ado, let's get to the drivers out on track right now. Will Friedmann currently setting the pace, 0.6 of a second clear at the top of the leaderboard. Looks like our man from France, also a admin here at Motive, our standings man and reigning champion of this Porsche Supercup division, is picking up where he left off at the end of last season and is currently showing everybody how it's done. Oh, but he's lost it coming through the bus stop chicane, just as I say that. Still 30 seconds on the clock, so is he going to get around? No, he's into the pits, so Will's not going to improve on his provisional pole time there, but he's setting the pace at the moment quite a way ahead. KD 0.6, so KD in second, won both of his ACC pre-season events that he did in the off-season, but looks like he's a little bit adrift in this qualifying session. He'll be looking to try and take the fight to Will over the course of the sprint race, that is for sure. Tonight's format, as usual in the Porsche Supercup here at Motive Racing, is going to be a two-race format. It's going to be a 10-minute qualifying session, which we're coming to the end of now, followed by a 20-minute sprint race, then a very short practice session, followed by another 10-minute qualifying session, which will then be succeeded by a 40-minute feature race. So that's going to be the long one. That's where these drivers are really going to earn their money, and for sure they're going to show us what they're capable of. No mandatory pit stops for the Porsche Supercup. They're both technically sprint races, but the second race, obviously twice the length, it's kind of like a feature race, but I suppose by definition they're both sprint races, so it's going to be very exciting to see how this goes tonight, as we've got Anthony Hunt there. Last season commentated alongside myself. This season has decided he wants a piece of the action. Who can blame him? Sitting in a commentary booth for a season and watching these cars go around, I'm sure he's been pretty jealous of the drivers out on track. He's in the pits at the moment, but Xaron out there right now, himself and Ryan Ruby, the only drivers out on track still doing lap times. Ryan Ruby did actually race in the GT4s last season, but he's opted to switch it up a little bit this season. He's in the Porsche Supercup. He's coming through the final part of the lap here. Still gets a lap in this qualifying session, so it's all or nothing here for Ryan Ruby. At a track where he was very unlucky not to pick up a win in GT4 Tier 2 last season. He's binned it into the wall, so he's not going to improve, and he will start this one from the back. But Ryan got very unlucky in last season's GT4 Tier 2 around this track, actually. Made a last lap overtake for the lead, but then got done for track limits on the last lap and ultimately got a big penalty and couldn't serve his drive-through, so got an even bigger penalty than he would have got had he come in and served the penalty. So Ryan in the pits, not going to improve. Hopefully he can make his way through during the race, but Will, top of your leaderboard at the moment, 2-minute 23.2 for the reigning champion of the Porsche Supercup division. KD in second will line up alongside him on the front row. Cinderella Tour, our former regular racer in the GTEs on Project Cars 2, will line up on the second row with deedeeTKU alongside him. Anthony Hunt in P5, Luke van der Streets in 6th, with Exeter on 7th, Hedgemars 8th, Penguin Dude in 9th, and Ryan Ruby completing the classification here for this one. Let us know in the comments, guys, who your favourite is for this one. Who do you think is going to be taking home the win? As Sergey points out, there's only 10 drivers. I haven't noticed, Sergey. Are you sure? Nah. We've also got RaKiMaJe saying, evening all. Well, welcome along, RaKiMaJe. Good to have you with us on the stream right now. Keel Beckett says, evening. Or Kyle, that's Viper, who is obviously the admin on over on the F1 2021 community that we run on a Wednesday and a Sunday night. Good to see you watching tonight. But here we go then, guys. About to go racing here. We're going to have a formation that before we start the sprint race tonight. So who's your money on? Let us know. Anybody, if your teammates are out there tonight, let us know if you're backing them for the win. Will Freeman will be looking to try and get his title defence off to the best possible start here at Spa tonight, but it's not going to be easy for him at all. Will Freeman's going to face a stiff test from KD, because we know that KD's quick. throughout the pre-season. He's been up there also towards the back end of last season's GT3s. He was always there in contention, so we'll be watching him with great interest here in this one. We are just going to go into a party chat because I can hear somebody whistling in the game chat. But for all those watching, please drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel. We'll be back on the other side of this very, very short break. Ladies and gentlemen, down the camera straight for the first time here in this race. Katie's got up into the lead. Will Freedman's now got heavy pressure from Cinderella Tour coming into the Lacombe, but Cinderella Tour's going to try and get it around. Will Wilson's gone straight on there over the Lacombe, and he's right over the sleeping policeman there. Will Freedman losing out a couple of positions there. The reigning champions had a disastrous start on this first lap, as we can see there. That's deedeeTKU on the inside, trying to get ahead of Will coming down the hill towards turn 10. He's also got Anthony Hunt giving a little bit of a tap in the rear, and Anthony's also got Luke up his inside. So Luke van der Street's getting ahead of Anthony. Anthony's now got Exeron looking to his outside in towards turn 11. But Anthony Hunt holds on the inside for the time being there, but looked like that was pretty close racing there between those guys. Will Freeman, where does that storm with these drivers all queuing up behind him at the moment, and manages to keep ahead of deedeeTKU, but Cinderella Tour is the man chasing down the leader Katie on this opening lap here. Timing board still hasn't updated itself, still says Will Freedman's in second. He isn't. Cinderella Tour's in second. Will Freedman's there in third, with deedeeTKU very close behind him. Anthony Hunt, Luke van der Street's Exeron, Hedgemars running in 8th place. There is Ryan Ruby on the back of these guys, and Penguin Dude has fallen off the pack a little bit on this opening lap. But Katie getting the start he really needed in this race. He would have dreamt of that before this one, especially with the gap that Will had to him in the qualifying session. He would have been hoping he could have got the jump and get as much of a gap as he can, and he's done exactly that so far. Cinderella Tour up into second place. Great start from him as well. He would have been definitely looking to try and make quick progress here in this one. He's in P2. He's got a bit of a gap back to Will, who's still trying to fend off deedeeTKU, but he's managed to shake him off a little bit on this first lap. Luke van der Street, Anthony Hunt, Exeron, all in a bit of a crack here. Ryan Ruby just watching this unfold in front of him as Luke van der Street comes into the bus stop chicane with a train of cars behind him. Exeron goes a little bit deep into the bus stop. Maybe Ryan Ruby might try and get the cut back on him coming out onto the start-finish straight. Let's have a look and watch this as it unfolds. And oh, what's happened there? Somebody's gone off. Somebody's had a moment there coming out of the bus stop. So that is Luke, actually. That was Luke. No, it wasn't Luke. Oh, it was Anthony. Anthony dropping back down to 8th place there. Losing a few positions, and that's promoted Luke. That's put Luke up into 5th. Exeron getting ahead, and Ryan Ruby also as Exeron cuts Original Rally on a little bit there. Definitely took advantages with the track limits. Katie's still leading by 2 seconds. Cinderella Tour is actually closing in a little bit on Katie at the moment. So Cinderella Tour really getting it down. There's Wood in third. deedeeTKU, Luke van der Street. There's Exeron, Ryan Ruby, Anthony Hunt running in 8th place after that little mistake coming out at the final corner. Dropped him down the order a little bit. Hedgemars running in 9th place, dropping off of this mid-pack paddle a little bit. Penguin Dude not having the race that he would have been dreaming of when he came into this race as a reserve tonight. But Katie doing a fantastic job out the front, doing exactly what he had to do at the start. The man who won 2 of the pre-season events here at Motive on ACC He managed to win the German Manufacturers Challenge. That was the event that we did the multi-class. He was the GT3 winner in that one. And also he won the Ferrari Fest at Imola as well. So he's got past, he's got form, and he's very much a man on a mission here, driving in all 3 of our ACC Championship this season. Cinderella Tour only taking part in these Porsche Supercups. He can well and truly focus on this championship. He's keeping KD honest at the moment, 1.8 seconds behind him. Will Friedmann dropping off of these 2 a little bit in his opening couple of laps. The champion has not had the start to the season that he would have wanted, especially when he got pole position as well. As we can see, Ryan has managed to get ahead of Exeron up into 6th, and now Exeron's facing heavy pressure here. Ryan's gone off. Ryan's gone off onto the gravel there, coming through Stavolo. He's going to have to get himself back together again. Still a long way to go in this race. I don't know what happened there, but he seemed to just lose it. I don't know if he got a bit of a tap in the rear there from Exeron. But Exeron running just in front of Anthony Hunt right now as he rides over that curve coming through Blanchemont. Anthony's not going to be able to get him into the bus stop though. He's going to tuck in behind for the time being. Nothing he can do right there. KD still leading this race. He's pulled out 2.42 Cinderella Tour. Currently KD quickest man out on track. Although Will Friedmann looks pretty quick as well. He's got the gap down to 1.3 seconds to Cinderella Tour at the moment. deedeeTKU with Luke van der Streets and Exeron still going at it here, coming up towards La Source. But Exeron's a little bit too far back at the moment to get anything done. Anthony Hunt running just ahead of Hedgemars coming into the source. Still not, Hedgemars not close enough to get anything done. But I think Anthony's got ahead of him there. So Anthony's got himself back up into P7. But Ryan Ruby down in 9th place after that little visit into the gravel trap at the end of that lap. He would be probably cursing his luck there, but still a long way to go. Still almost 15 minutes left in this sprint race. So time for him to get himself back together again and make amends for that little mistake. KD running still in the lead at the moment, keeping that gap around the same to Cinderella Tour. But importantly for Will Friedmann, he's closing the gap to Cinderella Tour, and he was quicker than KD through that first sector as well. So now Will Friedmann looks like he's on a bit of a charge here in this race. He'll be frustrated that he lost all that time in the first couple of laps, and he will be looking to try and recover that as quickly as he possibly can. Exeron's now a little way ahead of Luke, and Luke's dropped back. Luke's maybe he's now done 8th place, so he's behind. He's obviously dropped behind Hedgemars and Anthony Hunt. So that's unfortunate there for Luke van der Streets. It's kind of meant that the mid-pack battles petered out a little bit, aside from Anthony on the back of Hedgemars a little bit. These two coming down towards Pouin. Let's watch Anthony actually see if he can find himself within striking distance of Hedgemars coming through this middle sector. It's a tricky middle sector at Spa. If you nail it, if you find a setup that works, it can be extremely enjoyable. But if you go for a low downforce setup and opt for speed on the straight, such as out of Blanchemont into the bus stop or down the Kemmel straight up towards Lacombe, if you maximise your speed down those parts of the track, you really do find yourself wanting in these parts. But right now, Anthony trying to pressure Hedgemars into a mistake, still hasn't been able to for now. Will Freeman really close to the back of Cinderella Tour though, 0.2 of a second between these two. The more time that Will Freeman spends behind Cinderella Tour, the more it's going to give KD that breathing space. So Will's going to want to get this done as soon as he possibly can. He's looking to the inside here, coming up towards the bus stop chicane. He's going to go for the move. He's going to try and have a look, but Cinderella Tour kind of just covers that line off a little bit, sort of defends half-heartedly to the inside, and Will was not going to stick his nose up the inside there, not in the first race of the season, not when you're only a third of the way into the race. He's wise to that. Will, a wily old head in these Porsches, has been around for a little while now here at Motive, as we said, last season's champion, and he's not going to be tempted to go for anything rash and reckless at this stage in the season. Anthony Hunt has dropped off of Hedgemars a little bit. Ryan Ruby's closing up onto the back of Luke van der Streets. 0.7 of a second between these two coming up towards La Source. But Will Freeman trying to get this done with his Cinderella Tour. These two now 4.5 seconds behind the race leader KD, so Will needs to get his skates on as Cinderella Tour's defending to the inside, coming down the Kemmel straight towards Lacombe. Has Will got the legs on the outside there, the number 8 is going to try and go around the outside of Lacombe, but has Cinderella Tour got the measure of him? He's going to have that preferred line on the inside. I think Will's going to drive around the outside here. Great move there from Will Freeman. Cinderella Tour hugged the curve on the inside, but Will is up into second place and can now focus his attention on the race leader KD, who's just there, and these two still going at it as Will goes really wide there coming out of turn 9. But he does get away with it and he continues on his way. deedeeTKU running in 4th place, a couple of seconds behind these two. Exeron in 5th place at the moment. He's got 2.5 seconds back to Anthony Hunt, who is ahead of Hedgemars, and Hedgemars is tucking in behind him there. So he's now down to 7th place, Anthony into 6th. Luke van der Streets has still got Ryan. In fact, no, Ryan Ruby's got ahead of Luke van der Streets up into 8th place there. Didn't actually see him make that move, but he is now into 8th place there is Ryan Ruby. The timing screen hasn't updated itself, but that is the number 44 ahead of the number 70 at this point in the race. Will Freeman, though, now trying to gap Cinderella Tour, having got ahead of him, got into that 2nd place. He can now really focus his attention on Katie out the front. Katie's just doing what he has to do at the moment, has had the lead since the early laps and has just completely driven off so far in this race. Really good drive from Katie, but we expect no less from him, really, because we've seen in the pre-season just what this man is capable of doing professionally as an airline pilot. So very disciplined guy. He's races sim racing as a hobby. He really enjoys getting involved with the Motive Racing League. He's going to be racing in all of our ACC leagues this season, and he's must be a pretty talented chap, flying in the air, but he's also very good on 4 wheels on the ground as well. And you don't want to be flying in these cars, that is for sure. If you are, you're definitely doing it wrong. But 6 seconds he's got back to Will Friedman at the moment. Will's not really closing that gap at this point, so Will be wanting to try and bring that down and put Katie under pressure. In fact, in that sector, Will did gain a little bit. Half a second he gained on Katie coming through that final sector there. Cinderella Tour 1.3 off to the back of Will. He's got 2.6 back to deedeeTKU. Cinderella Tour and deedeeTKU currently matching each other. Yeah, they're lovely. But deedeeTKU is currently matching Cinderella Tour, but he is a couple of seconds behind him, so he really needs to get that work done if he's going to bring himself into contention for a podium spot. Exeter on there in P5. He's got Anthony Hunt 3 seconds behind him in this one. Hedgemar's there in 7th place. Luke van der Streets 7 seconds off of the back of Hedgemar's, and I think Ryan's had made another mistake here because he is now 2 seconds behind Luke van der Streets. So Ryan Ruby's had a bit of a mare somewhere, not sure where. Penguin Dude's running in P10, still going, still sticking with it here in this race. But Katie's the man of the moment right now. But Will Freeman's definitely closing the gap, I'd say. The gap was 5.9 the end of last lap. It's now down to 5.5. So actually, Will is bringing that gap down and possibly bringing himself into contention for this win. We've got just under 10 minutes left in this race. It's a long lap here at Spa. There's 21 turns throughout the lap, so there's plenty of room for error. And Will Freeman looking like he's showing intent. He wants to stick this on Katie if he possibly can. 2 seconds behind Will is Cinderella Tour still. He's now got deedeeTKU homing in on him a little bit. But Exeron is, in fact, it's Exeron behind him. Oh no, Deedee's lost it. Going through Pouan. He's spun on into the barriers there. It looked like he put it onto the grass. He's lost out enormously. Luke van der Streets is going to come up on the scene pretty shortly. But he's lost out there. Exeron's ahead of him. Anthony Hunt's ahead of him. Hedgemars has got ahead of him as well. And that's such a shame there for Exeron. That is the last thing that he would have needed there in that situation. It's just completely ruined his race here. That's going to have dropped him miles back. I'm pretty sure that was Exeron, wasn't it? Oh no, it was Deedee. I'm so sorry. It was Deedee who dropped back down the field to 7th place. So deedeeTKU is in now in 7th place. I do apologise for that. I don't know what I was looking at there. But deedeeTKU's now got Ryan Ruby just behind him. Still in this race by 5.3 seconds at the moment. Will Freeman's bringing that gap down. Look at it. I mean, he is consistently just grinding that down. 1.3. It was 5.9 at the end of the previous lap, so he's gained 6 tenths on that lap at the moment as well. He's still got 3 seconds back to Cinderella Tour at the moment. Exeron still running in P4. We thought it was him that made the mistake a lap ago, but it was in fact deedeeTKU. Anthony Hunt running 2 seconds behind Exeron at the moment. Hedgemar's just there has actually got ahead of Anthony, so Hedgemar's up into 5th. I'll tell you what, these timing boards are enough to make a man go absolutely nuts while commentating on this race. It was Deedee, and I knew it was Deedee, and then for some reason I put it in my head it was Stingy, but it wasn't, and I don't know what's going on right now. But these timing boards are absolutely awful, and they do mess with your head a little bit when you're commentating. But Katie does lead. He's got just under 5 seconds to Will Freeman at the moment. Will is continuing to just pick away at that gap, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. I mean, if he's gaining around a second a lap, it still wouldn't be enough. We're probably going to have 3 more laps after this one. So at this rate, I think KD will have enough to bring home the opening race of the season, but the reigning champion's going to push all the way to the checkered flag to try and pick up where he left off at the end of last season. Cinderella Tour doing a great job on his return to the Motive Racing track here tonight in that final podium spot. Hopefully he can stay where he is at the moment. Exeter on there in P4. We've got Hedgemars. It's sat in 5th place at the moment. He's got a second and a half back to Anthony Hunt. He's managed to gap him a little bit. Didi after that spin coming through Tour a few laps ago, running in 7th place. Ruby in 8th, not the race that he would have wanted in his opening round of the season. Luke van der Street's down him. I think he's retired to the pits by the looks of it, because there's no mandatory pit stop in this one. So Luke van der Street looks like he's thrown in a towel there. And Penguin Dude having a nightmare race, but still staying out on the track, so fair play. But at the moment, Katie's still got 4 seconds out the front to Will. Did I just see what I was seeing now? I think I did. Was I tripping there? I was. Yeah, Will's still about 4 seconds behind Katie at the moment. I thought he went wide. He might have gone wide coming out of La Source, I don't know. Maybe I was tripping. But 4 seconds between those two at the moment as they're coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. 5 seconds back to Cinderella Tour at the moment as he's wrestling that turn number 7 coming out of Radion down the Kelmer Straight. You want to get a good exit out of Radion because you're flat out for a long time coming down that section of the track. So you don't want to be getting a bad exit because that can lose you 4 or 5 miles an hour down that part of the track, which is enough to lose you about a second and a half just in one section of the track. So it's not ideal at all. Just what we're noticing losing time in certain parts of the track. Katie there lost about a second to Will, and Will's now within 3.5 seconds, so he is really flying at the moment. Is Will Freeman. Also Anthony Hunt on the back of Hedgemars here, 4/10 of a second between these two. Anthony and Hedgemars have been having a good battle over these last few laps, and now Anthony once again finds himself in striking distance coming down the hill towards turn 10. Anthony has a little look to the inside, but he's not quite close enough at the moment, just waiting in the wings, waiting for his opportunity to go for it, just psyching Hedgemars out a little bit, waiting to see what Hedgemars does, seeing if he shows any sign of weakness or vulnerability out on the track, and if he does, then Anthony will take his opportunity and take the position. But right now, these two have been pretty much joined at a hip for the last few laps. That was a hiccup. Katie still in this race. Will Freeman hunting him down, 3.5, but still the gap, so Will hasn't brought the gap down any more than it already was. But there's still time in this race. Still 2 laps left to go after this one. They're about to start the penultimate lap of the race, so it could all change very quickly here. Anthony Hunt running within 4/10 of a second of head. In fact, Hedgemar's gone wide out of Stabilo, but Anthony cannot capitalise on that. He looked like I thought he was going to go up the inside there, coming through the next right-hander, but he wasn't able to do it. He just had to pick his moment there, but he's running out of time. He needs to get on with it with 2 laps left to go here. After this lap they're about to complete, Katie's gap to Will now down to 3 seconds. Will continuing to side that gap down, but 2 laps left to go. 3 seconds is the gap. He's going to have to lap a second and a half quicker than him a lap, and that's not even mentioning the fact that he's got to get ahead of him to win this race. I mean, catching up is one thing, overtaking, as we know, a whole different ball game. Katie though coming through Eau Rouge and Radion at the top of the hill, but Will kind of doing the same, so I suppose that's just